Welcome to Perspective with Mwape. In today's video, you can get it. It's on addressing. In today's video, hey man, I'm trying to record the video. Distractions, right? Let's get into this. Welcome back to Perspective with Mwape. If you're new to this channel, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to click on this video, for watching, and if you like the content, please be sure to show your support, subscribe, and click that notification button so that you can be made aware every time that we have a brand new video. So today's topic is simply distractions, and in my opinion, these are things that have potential and the power to deter you, to derail you, and in essence shift your focus from completely pursuing the things that you want or even becoming the person that you want to become. Now, I have a particular bias in this video because I'm not going to be talking about the distractions that I guess are seemingly obvious. You know, if you saw a fire or if you saw a sign that just said don't do this, we clearly can see that, oh, you know what, I should have been heading in that direction. But I'm here to talk about the things that are not necessarily always thought of as distractions in the conventional way, because they're a huge representative of our internal, I could say, interests. You know, it's all the things that we like that have the potential, if perhaps not done in moderation, to take up all of our time. Let's give an example. Well, not just our time, but our money too. Let me give you an example. If your goal at the end of this particular year or even month or even, you know, the next quarter of the year is to say, I want to save a certain amount of money, and you happen to be at a shopping mall and you have the temptation, possibly even the hunger that just says, hey, man, you should get some food. In that instance, I can definitely tell you that the moment you decide to spend any form of money in pursuit of that particular thing, it has completely and 100% distracted you from your goal, which is, I want to be frugal. And guys, we just have to admit it. Our mothers have always been right. There is always food at home. If, for example, you know that you have a term paper that is due perhaps in a week or even maybe 2 days, 3 days, or some office work that you had left to do at home, and you decide, you know what, let me just check in on the guys or the boys or the girls, and you happen to spend perhaps 3-4 hours just hanging out, and you knew full well going there nothing productive would come of it. You have been distracted. Or if you happen to wake up in the morning and you know that you have a fully engaging day, but your particular impulse is to start your day first, spending at least a good 40 minutes, whichever one is your preference, could be your WhatsApp, your Instagram, your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever the case is. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a classic case of distractions. And I find that distractions are on the rise because now it seems that technology is fast gaining ground, and there are always new and exciting ways that seem to keep us distracted. And there's always that one thing that seemingly looks good but is not necessarily actively helping you attain your goals. And I don't need to delve into depth or even try to list as many examples as possible. You and I both know the things that occasionally not only have us feeling drained, but occasionally can cause us to procrastinate, put off stuff until it's too late. So how do we remedy this particular thing? How is it that we can be fully functional and come to a place where we're not constantly distracted? How do we come to a place where we're not necessarily always or continually weighted down by the number of distractions that are constantly coming our way? Our intention is to effectively do the right thing. You could have set a goal and said, you know, I want to read this number of books by the end of this year. You know, I want to have a certain weight goal by the end of the year. I want to be able to have my driver's license by the end of the year. I want to be able to do a particular thing, but there are constantly all of these distractions that come in different forms and in different shapes. Allow me to begin by sharing a wisdom with you, which I find is so profound. I like to think of distractions in the same way that I think of relationships. The more that I'm able to invest time into a relationship, the stronger that relationship grows between me and the people that I'm in relationship with. It could be my family, my friends, my peers. And I like to think that the same is true of even the things that we do. The more that I invest just a little bit more time after work into watching television, the more that I spend maybe just a little bit of time into Facebook, the more that I spend a little bit of time on Instagram, just giving it a little bit more time, I'm actually building the strength of that relationship. And over time, we find that it becomes a little bit too difficult to actually separate from the things that are distracting us. In other cases, it could be even seemingly good things, but not necessarily convenient for that time or that space. We know that you're supposed to be on the internet researching, and they just happen to be this ad that just says, oh, you know what, you could learn how to DIY this and that, or you could learn how to do this other thing. And if you've been on YouTube or pretty much any platform, you find that there are always suggestions based on what you're looking for. And instead of focusing on that one thing, your mind can shift to multiple things until at the end of the day you don't even know where to look, and it's been a good 2 hours and you haven't done anything meaningful with your time. Or it could even be just affording a moment to just sit and rest with and to think without distractions from the television, from other people, or even any other sphere of life. I find one of the remedies is literally to stop investing time. And this is not so much a dig or in any way some criticism to say social media is bad, because without it, most likely you wouldn't have heard of this particular YouTube channel, you wouldn't have seen it on my Facebook. But the goal of this is really to enlighten us and to get us to a point of reflection, and to make us from not just being the users but the masters of the things that have been availed to us, to be the master of the time that you have, to be the master of, for instance, even the social media that you're using. Another wisdom which I find is that, you know what, it just comes down to these simple words, and the answer has been here all along, and that's simply focus. I read somewhere, and the acronym is, well, what those letters mean: to follow one course until successful. As simple as that. Other times, if I know that I've got obligations and work that I need to do, then I'm going to suspend anything else that might be good until I finish that one thing that I know I need to get results from. If I know that I'm supposed to perhaps prepare some work for somebody who had asked me, I know that I need to be deliberate about it and diligent to see that task complete before I can jump onto another one. I think the challenge is sometimes we get distracted because we take on so many things at a time, and at the end of the day, all of our strength is given to the things that we have to do. But if we can learn to literally focus and follow one course until we're successful. And the very last thing that I want to encourage you all with is simply something that I find so much joy doing nowadays, and that's simply taking an inventory and really assessing how I spent my day. When I woke up in the morning, what is it that consumed my day? And there's a truth that has honestly been liberating for me this past week that I encountered, and it's simply that activity does not equal accomplishment. So I don't want just to be busy, I want to actually accomplish something. And I find that it's possible when you're distracted to be caught up in so many things but barely accomplishing anything. So when you look back at the end of the week, what exactly can you say you have effectively and successfully accomplished? When you look at your time today, what is the one thing when you go to bed, you know it led you a step closer to becoming the person who you're trying to be, and also acquiring the things that you're trying to have? So that's one thing that I find is absolutely liberating and empowering. The fact that I'm able to look at my day and say, hey, this is what I was able to do. And currently, because of the precautionary health precautions that have been advised by the government, most likely you're either working from home or spending a good amount of your time at home. When you wake up on all the way until you go back to bed, what is it that you've been able to accomplish that is actively or even positively adding to who you want to become? Finally, the last thing that I wanted to share with each and every one of you is something that is inspired by my faith, and which is you need to be able to redeem the time. When you look at all the time that you have, and even this time that you're possibly spending at home, if you're unable to be at home, I guess anywhere else, you need to be able to look at your time and say, how can I redeem the time? After having taken an inventory of all the things that you did that possibly derailed you, shifted your focus, and in light of all that's going on, you know, it's very possible to become distracted with the trends and the things that are happening on the internet, that we lose sight of the things that we should be actually working towards, that bring you and me the fulfillment that we're desperately looking for. So redeeming the time is simply all about making the most use of today. So that means when I wake up today and as I go about my day, can I actually say that I'm making the most use of every single opportunity that I'm presented with? I want to believe that if I'm able to say yes to that, it won't be long before I'm becoming, or rather getting a step closer to not only having the things that I want, but also being the person that I wanted. All right, and finally, today just happens to be March 31st, which means that we've gone through the first quarter of the year. And like I said in my second video, if you haven't seen it, I'm going to put a link to the description in the bio, is that we need to be able to give ourselves an honest evaluation. 3 months later, Can we honestly say that we're a step closer to all the goals that we had set out in the beginning of the year? Can we say that we are a step closer to becoming the individuals or even the people that we wanted to be when the year started? I think it'll be a good step, not only for you, but for myself as well, to really sit down and take an honest evaluation of the first 3 years, which a lot of people, first 3 months, which a lot of people, I guess, feel like have been the most. And also, finally, huge shout out to Niza Level, who actually has a podcast and it has been released today. I'm going to put a link in the bio to some of her old podcasts so that you can follow her, listen to her. She has great content, and I guarantee you it's a great mind that you absolutely need to be listening to. Otherwise, that is all from me. I'll be seeing you all in the next video. Peace.